Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to week 10 of the semester and week, 3 of quarantine. So I hope that you're all hanging in there okay. Hope your families are well. I know that this is a crazy time. So if you need anything, if there's anything I can do to be helpful, don't hesitate to reach out. Before I start the videos for chapter 9, I just wanted to let you know that I did change something in Canvas, and you may have gotten some like a notification about that. So originally we were going to do a relationship essay as part of the curriculum. I've actually decided to drop that essay and make it an extra credit assignment. I had a couple of people ask me about extra credit, and so if you would like to do that assignment, you can. If you do a good job, I will add 3 bonus points to your final grade, right? So to your final average. So if you end up with a 77 overall, you do this writing assignment and that's going to pull you up to a B minus. So again, I'm putting that out there. For those of you who are doing fine, if you got an A, you've got a B, you don't feel like doing that assignment, you don't have to. And so I'm just going to decrease the number of points available. Like, it's not going to hurt you. It's just I took it away, and I took those points away. So then the other assignments that are left are worth like 1 point more than they normally would be, right? So like the 10%, most of the stuff is 10%, so it would be like 11% because I didn't factor that in. It's a extra credit assignment. You have a homework assignment that's posted in Canvas. You're going to watch a video about sharing your phone. And would you let your significant other look at your phone and look at your text messages and your search history? And so there's a couple of questions about that also posted. So everything, so the homework is due on Saturday. I have not finished grading your exams yet. I saw most of you did a good job. So I will have those short answer essays graded by the end of the week, definitely by the weekend, and I'll have your grades posted so you can see what you got on that exam. So like I said, issues, questions, concerns, just feel free to reach out. Email through Canvas is probably the best way to do that. If you need me to set up a one-on-one with you through Zoom, I'm happy to do that too. So just want to get that out of the way and let you know that I'm here to help you. Okay, so now we'll switch to the other mode where I'm up in the corner. All right, and we're going to start chopping. We're going to start talking about chapter 9, which is the dynamics of interpersonal relationships. Okay, so relationships, if I asked you to define that, what would you say? It's kind of a tough word to define, isn't it? It's really less of a thing and more of a process. Right? We have so many different types of relationships with people, interpersonal relationships, right? You've got friendships, you've got boyfriends and girlfriends, intimate relationships. You have brothers and sisters, you've got co-workers, right? Bosses, those types of relationships. So we're going to talk about the different dynamics, right? How does it work? Why do we form the relationships that we form? What types of stages do relationships go through? Because we do know that relationships go through pretty kind of predictable stages. That's what your extra credit assignment is about, by the way. And so we're going to talk about that. All right, so let's get into it. All right, first, why do we form the relationships that we form? Do you ever actually think about it? Why am I in these relationships? There's a lot of different reasons, right? Why do we form relationships with some people and not with others? Right? Sometimes we have no choice, right? You can't pick your family. Children can't pick their parents. Parents can't pick their kids, right? That's just the way the roll of the dice, right? So you can't pick your family. But in many cases, we seek out some people and we actively avoid others. Why? Why? That's what we're going to look at. All right. First of all, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know, people. We often use physical appearance to assess a person. We just do. Though it tends to become less important the more a person gets to know someone. Remember, we talked about that before, right? People become more attractive to us the more we get to know them. And, regular looking people become more attractive to us when we get to know them because their personalities make them more attractive. And we know that it works both ways too, right? We've talked about that before. When people have attractive personalities, we tend to view them as physically attractive as well, right? So appearance is important, definitely in the early stages, like that first initial attraction to someone tends to be physical. Ordinary looking people with pleasing personalities are likely to be judged as attractive. I just said that. And physical factors are really less important as that relationship progresses. What else? Similarity. We tend to look for people or form relationships with people who are similar to us. It's based on this thing called the similarity thesis. The similarity thesis. Similar likes, economic class, educational standing, and values, right? It is likely, research should suggest that it is likely that your partner that you settle down with, whether you decide to marry that person or not, generally will probably be more like you, more similar to you than not. Probably similar economic class, similar educational standing, and similar values. Political views and religion tend to be two of the top things that we look for in people that we form relationships with. We're looking for like-minded people, especially with those two particular topics. Why? Because similarities are validating. We're like, oh, you're liberal, so am I. Oh, you're conservative, oh, me too, right? We think the same way. Oh, you're Christian, so am I, right? It enables fairly accurate predictions, and we assume that similar people will like us. Oh, this person is like me. Oh, they're probably going to like me, right? That's similarities. Ha ha ha. But we also look for people who are complementary to us. You see the word there, complementarity or complementary, right? Opposites attract. Differences strengthen a relationship when each partner's characteristics satisfy the other's needs. So I like to spend money and my partner doesn't, and somewhere we meet in the middle. Okay. Successful couples find ways to balance the similarities and the differences. So it's not to say that, my gosh, you have to be completely opposite. No, it is to say that I think it's a nice mix of these two things, right? You want somebody who's similar, but then there should be some, I shouldn't say that there should be, I didn't mean it that way, right? Research suggests that the most successful relationships do have those components where it is complementary, where you're not exactly the same, right? Where you fill each other's needs or you fill each other's voids, so to speak. Rewards, ha ha ha, right? We are looking for, I don't know why I'm laughing, but we're looking for a reward system, right? What's in it for me? What's in it for me? We look at relationships and we ask, where are the intrinsic rewards, right? Remember that from chapter 1. What's in it for me? So we assess people based on desirable outcomes we believe to be possible, and we hope that those outcomes outweigh any costs associated with the relationship. That's the social exchange theory. So on your screen, if you've got your notes there, it should say social in front of exchange theory. That's the social exchange theory. So rewards are outcomes that we desire. Costs are the undesirable outcomes, and we absolutely look at relationships this way. Rewards plus costs equals outcome. Okay, I'm going to be in a relationship with this person, and this person is financially, they're set, right? Money. I'm looking for money in my next relationship. The cost is, well, this guy's kind of a jerk. Doesn't really treat my kids well. Doesn't like my animals. Flies off the handle. What's the outcome? All right, am I going to put up with this dude who's a jerk, doesn't like my family because he's got money, right? And some people would say, hell yeah, I am. And other people would say, no, if he's not nice to my kids, I'm not going to be with him, right? See the social exchange theory? We can see this in relationships, especially, I tend to see it in women. We tend to see it in women. Research tends to see it in women in abusive relationships. Right? And we've talked about this before. It's easy for us to sit from our perspective and say, oh my gosh, why is she with that guy? And I know I'm using pronouns here. Why is she with that guy? Why is he with that girl? Why is that woman being, mentally abused, verbally abused, and she's still with her husband? The reward here, I don't have a job. I'm a single mom. I have children. he provides me with a home, and he pays the bills. I have a roof over my head. Costs are, he's verbally abusive, maybe sometimes physically abusive. But I can't, where am I going to go? I can't afford to go anywhere. So the outcome is, according to the social exchange theory, I'm going to stay in that relationship. And people are going to look at it and think, what on earth are you doing? But for that single mom, she may have no other option, and that's what she's doing. And it's sad. It's really sad. And that's where, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. That's where nonprofit, that's where local resources need to help these women and men who are in these situations because of the social exchange theory. They can't afford to leave. Money, unfortunately, money is very handy, and we need it to live and to eat. And so you see people who stay in these relationships because those basic needs are being met, even though they're putting themselves into harm's way, right? What am I willing to put up with? What are you willing to put up with, right? Ask yourself. So staying or going, comparison, the minimum standard of acceptable behavior, and the comparison level of alternatives, right? If I go, I could be homeless. If I stay, okay, so this guy's a jerk, but at least I have a roof over my head, right? Those are real scenarios that people in our neighborhoods are dealing with a lot of the time. Okay, competency. We're hoping that other people's competency rubs off on us in a way. We often desire to gain additional skills from others, more competent than we are, but we can be intimidated by those who far surpass our level of skills. I think my husband's with me because I'm definitely more competent than he is. No, I'm kidding. It's your humor for the day. No, I'm joking. We want to be with people who are smart, but sometimes not too smart. Your book talks about this research that talked about this study where people, they looked at people who were interviewing for a job, and there was 4 different people, and they had 2 really competent people and 2 not so competent people. And of the competent people, they told one of them to, at the end of the interview, to like accidentally spill a cup of coffee. And so when they asked the fake interviewers who they would hire out of the 4 people, there was 2 that were less competent, 1 that spilled coffee in the less competent people, and then 2 who were really competent, very smart, but one of them spilled coffee. The researchers or the observers said, oh, we would pick the person who is really competent but who spilled the coffee. Why? Because we like competent people who are somewhat flawed. Why? Because they remind us of ourselves, because nobody's perfect, right? We all make mistakes. So that's competency. We're uncomfortable around people who are too competent, but we do hope other people's skills and abilities will rub off on us. And we do like people who are somewhat flawed, which I think is really interesting. Proximity. How close is this person to you? Is it likely that you will start an intimate relationship with someone who is 3,000 miles away? Well, maybe it's not likely. However, it's not unheard of, right? That's what social media is for. That's what email is for. But proximity, you are more likely to develop a relationship with someone with whom you interact with frequently, right? Even in cyberspace, right? Proximity, how often are we interacting, right? How close are we? How often are we interacting? Proximity leads to liking, although familiarity can breed contempt. Ooh, right? Yes. There can be some contempt there. Can you think of a time when you developed strong feelings for someone you encountered frequently? We've all seen movies about this, right? The people who meet in class, and she's really smart, he's a jock, or he's a bad boy, right? And somehow they have to work on this group project and they fall in love or whatever. I think I've seen like 6 80s movies that kind of ended that way. But yeah, there's probably a time when something like that happened to you because you were spending a lot of time with that person. You get to know them more. You get to see the different sides of their personality, right? It just comes from time, because of their proximity to us. Okay, really fast. We'll finish up here with disclosure. With disclosure, sharing important information, it breeds liking based on respect and trust, right? Disclosure used in the right moments. We start sharing a little bit about ourselves, somebody else starts sharing about themselves, right? And the trust is there. Now, timing with this is important. You don't want to just meet somebody for the first time and be like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I've got problems with my parents and blah, blah, blah. Like, we're like, Stay away. That's not going to happen. But sharing details in just the right time, that can build trust in a relationship. All right, I'm coming.